Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher, and today we're going to take a look at the Tangle Hoodie from Rosemary Turpin. So I think this one was put on Tangle Patterns a couple years ago, Thanksgiving, as I'm just looking at it, and yeah, and I've seen it, and I look at it and I go, oh. So I decided I'm going to stretch my comfort zone a little bit and give it a go. And it's amazing. so, and here's why. Okay, so we'll go through it, and I'll tell you the amazingness of it as we go. Pick a place that you want to start this, and let's say it's the center. It probably doesn't matter, but let's just say center-ish, and we're going to draw a triangle, kind of a tall, skinny one, but at the same time, as if you've been following, if you have done Zentangle, you know it doesn't matter. No such thing as mistakes and all that. So you draw your triangle however you shall draw your triangle. Then, and actually I did it without turning my paper before. Let's see how good. Sometimes it is easier just to turn your paper though, so that way you get or I guess let's see, how do I want to say this? You increase your chances of consistency. My thought, if you turn your tile, if you end up with results that are inconsistent, then give it a try. Maybe that's the best way to think about it. Okay, so all pointing into like what would be an invisible dot there in the center. Then uh, aura that line. And as I was looking at not only Rosemary's samples, but Linda Farmer from Tangle Patterns, you can play with this. She had one where it was a little bit longer than the end of the triangle, and it looked neat. So you can play with that. You can play with all of it, as you know. So auraing that bottom line of the triangle. Then pick one of the four spaces you now have. It became like a puzzle to me, and I thought that's I think why I liked it. So I'm picking this one, and I'm going to aura that line again, and make a new triangle from there. And guess what? We start over. So this is the first triangle, like we started here. Now, I found while it helps to keep your triangles consistent, you almost it's if you have a little variation, it still ends up okay. And then we're going to put our lines, right? Now, we have, well, three new places, but you also have all of these ends that you can pick to continue. And I'm just going to pick there. And then that's our new start. I'm a little towards the edge here, aren't I? And the best thing is just don't worry about it. Actually, I'm going to start to do it. Let me do it without turning my tile in a minute here. All right. Then, as you know, rinse and repeat. I'm going to start here. Oh, and then there's my new one. Okay, so as you see, oh, now we're coming up to a place where they'll look like they'll connect. And so that's going to be my second. Now, that was a little short. It's okay. It doesn't matter. But when you get up to a place where it's going to meet up, then you can kind of have a little fun with, adjusting as needed. Now, one additional thought here, because we will have a point, and I'm just going to continue. I think you get it, but I'm just going to continue. Um, of course, we have the decorating portion. And if for some reason you are unhappy with, say, these triangles, then you could, if you want to, fill them all in. So, like for instance, if I decided I was going to fill all of these in, well, I'm going to start here and expand that. Draw it the way I wanted it to, so it would meet up, and there you go. Course corrected. So, and what I found that was neat was every point where it starts meeting up and starts looking like a grid, and that's what made me nervous about this one, because it's like, oh, I just don't know, when there's no grid that's a part of this, then I just get a little nervous because I'm like, I don't know if that'll work, and it does, and you can see already they're not perfect, and the beauty of Zentangle is that when you get done with a pattern, you just don't see it anymore because there's so much to look at, and so and there's right there is the other problem. Sometimes I seem to do my triangles in one direction, but there were a couple where I started it the wrong way, and I was like, "Whoa, okay," and then I just had to, stop, think, and then make sure that it went at an angle so that way I could finish the triangle the other way. So there's always neat things that we find out about ourselves. I find anyway. Yeah, I could just be talking about me. I find out all kinds of cool things about myself when I tangle. But it has a neat, whimsical look as well, and I like that. That also lends itself to the, there's no such thing as a mistake. If it's a little wonky, we because we haven't done that in a long time on the Tangle Time calls that I have. I got maybe we've gotten just also good. We've not had to call anything whimsical, but we changed our verbiage because that's what you should do, right? To be positive. So there's no wonky. It's just whimsical, or if rustic. That I think I turned like sloppy into rustic. you know, it's just fun. All right, so here we go. I'm not going to take it all the way out to the edge, although I could, and I'm extremely tempted to because I like to do that. But it, it turned out neat. Now, again, take a look at the for more inspiration link for ways to decorate. But Rosemary did put as this as a last step, but you could just leave it as a you could leave it off, and this is to kind of aura the interior of these sections. And one thing that's kind of neat about that is it also takes your eyes away from anything that might not be up to our individual high standards that we keep trying to not have. And two, if say maybe you don't like an angle or something, um, it's just like the general aura when you aura around a whole tangle that you've done, say, like the whole project. It's such a neat effect, but it also I don't know, it finishes it off nicely, and again takes your eyeballs away from things that you kind of go, ugh. And so then you can have lots of fun with this. Oh, let's see, I need to do that here. Where, um, gosh, where in where to shade? I don't know. I should be thinking about that right now. I was just tickled with this one that it came out. thinking about that because it depends on what you want to emphasize. That's just neat. All right, let's see. Hmm. Actually, as a part of me, I really did like the. Oh, let me say this closer to the mic. I really did like the So what Linda Farmer did on her thumbnail, and you'll see that link in the for more inspiration. And she didn't do the aura-ing at all. She did fill in those triangles, and it creates a really really neat look. And oh, I guess there's just the one sample from neat from Rosemary, and she actually used it as a border. So just doing, one line. Huh. So even more fun that you can have with it. So I'm going to do this because I just want to add some kind of shading. And I'm thinking it would be neat. Let's do this. I'm just adding some graphite around the exterior lines, but I'm on the inside of these aura sections. I may come back afterwards, but you don't need to watch that. You'll see what I've already decided to do on the front picture of this. But I'm partly thinking that would be it would be nice to fill those in. And actually, on Rosemary's sample, she has them filled in as well. Yeah, I just had to look back at the step out that she has, to make sure that she didn't have them filled in there, and she doesn't. So, and you see, I kind of did this kind of sketchy, so not putting a whole lot of graphite on because I didn't want it necessarily too thick. But at the same time, part of me is thinking, gosh, I could just fill that all in gray, and that's kind of nice. But I also like having that center being kind of open. I am amazed at this really old tortillon that it manages to get into some tight spaces without going outside too much. I say it and then I jinx it. Oh, I like that. Yep. Like that a lot. So, neat tangle. And, and let me provide some encouragement also. There's a tangle that you just kind of go, oh, I don't know that I can do that. Give it a go. Just do it. It's only, as my mom says, it's only a piece of paper, and I still work to convince myself of that. But truth be told, it is. And just give it a go. Really neat. All right. So if you enjoyed this, and I hope you did, would love to have you click like. Feel free to share it, leave comments, and if you liked it enough to see more, would love to have you be a subscriber to the channel. I mentioned the description section already a couple times. Below the links to step outs are ways to connect with me. So if you enjoyed this, if you enjoyed me, I teach online classes almost twice weekly. A lot of them are free. I have a couple that are paid, so that way I can afford to continue. And I do have a membership club. All that information is on my website, and if you have trouble finding it, do let me know. But we'd love to have you join us online sometime. So with that, thanks so much for watching, and I wish you happy tangling.